life.
Why did you wake me up?
Because it's time to remember who you are and what you are here to do.
Okay, I'm awake. What's next?
Awareness. This is where you become aware of your external and internal world.
So how do I gain awareness?
By seeking knowledge.
And after that,
you become a fully conscious being.
How?
Come with me. That is the house of clouds.
What's that?
I call it the house of knowledge.
Okay.
One of the most important part of this process is embarking on the journey of knowledge. Some believe that the cloud is like a universal storage system, just like the concept of the Akashic field. Once you are awakened and open-minded, you gain access to unlimited knowledge from source.
So how do I gain knowledge?
The truth have always been around you. In books, entertainment, and even the media, all you need to do is seek.
I've heard people talk about spiritual awakening. Can you explain what it really means?
The awakening is a deep realization. It's a point in your life where you begin to break free from thoughts, ideas, or patterns that have held you back for so long.
Okay, so how long does it take to awaken?
Awakening was never meant to last forever, although there are stages of awakening.
Okay.
Each stage is like an initiation process. It opens your eyes to new levels of enlightenment.
Can you explain further?
It is the moment you realize who you truly are by stepping into your power.
Okay, how do I know it's time for me to step into my power? Because I've been going through this awakening for some time now.
You step into your power by taking action. Once you've received the knowledge, the next step is to use what you've gained.
So how do I know when is the right time for me to act? Because I've been seeing signs and synchronicities. I've been reading spiritual books, searching for the truth, watching content. I just want to know when is the right time for me.
This is where many of you get stuck. You keep searching, waiting for more signs, more downloads, more confirmations. But the truth is that you are ready now.
Okay.
The awakening was just a preparation. It's time to start creating and not just consuming.
So what happens when the spiritual awakening is over?
Once you're done with any stage, you become an embodiment of all you've received. You no longer just talk about spiritual truths, you live them. You don't just learn about energy, you command it.
Okay.
At this point, you embody all you've learned.
So what are the signs that my awakening is complete?
Okay, the first sign is recognizing who you are. You realize that you're not just a part of the universe. You're not just a child of God, but you are God experiencing life through human form.
Okay.
You begin to understand that everything is connected and you are not separate from God. You stop searching for God outside of you because you realize that you and God are one.
So what's next?
You no longer look for signs and synchronicities to confirm that you're on the right path. You just trust because you know you're exactly where you're meant to be.
So does that mean that life becomes perfect?
No, challenges and obstacles still comes, but the difference is that you don't fight them. You no longer see difficulties as punishment. You understand that everything is happening for you and not to you. And with this realization, you see lessons in difficult situations and you learn from it.
Okay, so what's next?
The next step is trusting your intuition.
Yeah, before my awakening, I usually overanalyze. Like most times I second guess myself. I don't trust some of my ideas. I look for what's trending. I depend on the advice of others. I don't listen to my own inner voice.
Once you've gotten to a stage where you no longer doubt your intuition, you trust your inner voice to be your guide. You know when a situation or person doesn't feel right. You walk and move when your spirit tells you to because you are no longer indecisive. This is one of the clearest signs that your awakening is complete.
What else?
Material desires no longer control you.
So does that mean that I shouldn't have any material possessions?
No, it means you don't chase them blindly. You allow them to flow naturally without attachment and desperation. This is what makes abundance find you without so much effort.
That's true.
Most people define their worth by money and status until they realize that true wealth is inner peace. True success is working in your purpose.
Okay, I get. The aim is to live in abundance without attachment.
Exactly.
Okay.
Money aligns with your energy.
I used to see money, material possessions, and even status as the goal. But right now, I've come to understand that these things are just tools. They come naturally when you walk in your purpose.
Yes, the next step is embracing peace and solitude. At this point, you're not scared of being alone, looking for constant validation, constant company, looking for excess engagement from the world.
There was a time in my life when solitude felt so uncomfortable. Being alone brought out restlessness, sadness, and even doubt. And most of the times, I'll look for something to distract myself from the silence
Okay.
by playing music, movies, and even social media.
Most people do not understand the importance of solitude. It gives you an unexplainable aura. It allows you to listen to your own voice. Once you master solitude, you don't seek relationships from a place of emptiness because you are whole and fulfilled. You don't tolerate draining relationships. You don't force yourself or force connections on people. You choose to stand alone than surround yourself with fake people. You find yourself comfortable in your own space and presence. Once you reach this stage, you radiate a profound amount of peace, a quiet confidence, and the kind of energy others can feel but might not be able to explain.
Okay?
Solitude gives you the chance to ask yourself questions and seek answers from your higher self.
Yeah, at first, when I came to the realization, it was both overwhelming and isolating because I began to see and notice things that others couldn't.
Yeah, and the final step is a strong call to step into your purpose.
There was a time when I questioned my purpose, where I was here in this world, what I was meant to do with all the knowledge and awareness I have gathered. But now I feel an urgent call to step into it.
This is the strongest sign that your awakening is complete. This sign cannot be ignored. It shows up in every aspect of your life, your thoughts and emotions.
So true.
You wake up with a feeling that you're meant to be doing something greater. It comes with an internal pressure saying you were not awakened just to observe, but to act.
Yes.
Because you've been prepared, guided and transformed. This calling comes in different forms. A desire to teach, heal or guide others through your talent, arts, gifts and other forms of creative expressions.
But I don't have some of the things I need to start.
You may not have all the answers or know every step ahead, but you are exactly where you're meant to be. Because you have the right amount of wisdom, experience and life lessons to carry out your mission. Great one, the waiting is over, the preparation is done, and your mission begins.